Welcome to the Potion Podcast, your raw look at the hospitality industry, brought to you by SHC. It's like the third take of this, explaining why I'm coming back. I am back. I think this is gonna stick. Like I really enjoyed doing the podcast, 2019 to 2022. So for 3 full years, I did 350 episodes. But I really can't start this Post Shift shot off without saying, welcome to the Post Shift Podcast. Of course, I'm your host, Sean Sewell. And yes, I am going to be religiously trying to start doing this. It has been 2.5 years since I did a podcast or an episode. I did do the podcasts for World Class, which they've always looked after me and looked after all the contestants and all that sort of stuff. I really, really loved it. I have got episodes from this year that I haven't even posted yet that I've got to do something with. I promise, Michael, if you're watching or listening. But really, why am I coming back after 2.5 years? When I gave up the podcast, I gave up a lot of things in my life, in my business life, my consulting, a few of the projects that I had on the go. Sort of post-pandemic had sort of got me a good way, and I was really enjoying that. But taking back over Clive's was a big passion project for me, and that was over 4 years ago now. And we've been building it, and I really wanted to see what I can achieve within the Clive's brand and see what we can do for the Clive's brand across Canada, across globally, and we've done really, really well, fantastically well over the last couple of years. But I have a fantastic team there now, so I'm sort of feeling that my cup is a little empty. My cup is like just a smidgy down. So as always, if everybody's ever watched any of my episodes or listened to any of my episodes, I need to have my cup full all the time, if not either running over. And if you haven't, listen, if this is the first time you're listening to me, I'm going to introduce myself, I promise. There's 350 plus episodes over three and a bit years on YouTube, on Spotify, on everywhere. Please do yourself a favor and go check them out. There's a ton of really great interviews from Jeffrey Morgenthaler, Monica Berg, David Wondrich, Dale the Groff. Like, I've done everything and everybody, Jim Meehan. But go check them out. I'm going to revisit a lot of the people that I've interviewed in the past and catch up with them, because it has been a long time. Like, I've been running so fast for the last 4 years that my mental health has definitely taken a massive downturn, and I'm trying to pull myself out of that. And I think the podcast is something that helps me sort of pull myself out of that sort of mentality and that sort of rush. So, without further ado, who the fuck am I? I do swear on my podcast. It's me. If you know me personally, you know that I'm Australian, and so the word, therefore, it is thrown in there very, very regularly. But who am I? I've been in the industry for 25 years. I grew up in Australia. I've been here in Canada for 20 years. As a kid, I was very, very poor, but very rich in family life, I suppose. I'm eldest of 6. Started working full-time for my parents' company at 13. Worked full-time, so 40 hours a week plus school. You can do the math on that. It is an insane schedule. And so working full-time and then also going to school, did very well in school. Left school, had a falling out with my family, and especially my father. Got kicked out of home with $700 in my pocket and had to go get a job. I was a country lad, and I got dropped in the city and at a friend's place, slept on the couch for a couple of weeks till I could find an apartment, and worked my way back up. And I worked my way back up from a handyman at a hotel all the way up to a food and beverage manager, assistant GM at pubs, bar managers, winning cocktail competitions, named one of the best bartenders in the country, in a space of like 5-6 years. And so I come from very, very humble beginnings. I never wanted to be in the industry. It was never something. My mother was, part of my French, a horrible cook. Family of 8, you got to feed them. It's not exactly seasoning and well-made food. So the industry was something that I never even clicked into. I was a landscaper by trade out of high school, so it never clicked into me. So I got into the hospitality industry basically through being a handyman at this hotel. Food and beverage manager came to me one night and was like, do you have black and whites? I'm like, well, that's my uniform that I wear to interviews. And he's like, can you go grab it? Can you work a wedding tonight? And I worked that wedding trying to pour beers and carrying trays. And I can't remember what happened. I spilt something, but everybody loved me and I had a great time. I was very personable. which is funny compared to what people think I am now. But I just fell in love with the industry. And after that, within a year or two, I did my first cocktail competition, like a state title, won a state title, and really just delved into hardcore cocktails. And that was before the internet. Like, there was no internet. You couldn't go click. There's no smartphones clicking in. It was really something that was collecting books and pouring through books and books and books. And there wasn't even great books out there at the time. Like, there's no Wondrich, there was no Gary Reagan, that sort of thing. So that's how I came. So in 26, I had a bar school in Australia at 25, 24, 25, and I had a bar school for a couple of years. And then at 26, I moved to Canada and started from scratch again, I suppose. I came over here, I think, with maybe $2 or $3 grand in my pocket and got an apartment, started working, worked really hard and worked my way up. Ran Clive's from 2009 to 2013, opened my own place, Little Jumbo. Things didn't work out with my business partner at the time. So I moved on, got into consulting. From 2014 to 2019, that sounds about right, 2019, I consulted and opened 14 different restaurants all over the world. So I've traveled to Singapore, opened bars in Singapore. I've opened places here in Victoria, places that are still using my programs to this day and my systems. So I've come from sort of ups and downs, and now I'm in the business of helping other businesses find structure, systems, HR, consulting on cocktail programs is probably my least part of my business, to be honest with you. Cocktails and recipes I can do, but like that's seriously such a small portion of the business when it comes to the grand scheme of opening a venue. And so this is me on Post Shift Podcast. I don't sugarcoat it. I don't fluff it. I'm going to be honest with you. If you have questions, you can always DM me. So if you're a young bartender out there and you've got any questions about like making the switch to being a manager, making the switch to being an owner, I've got podcasts about that. I've got videos on YouTube. You can go search them out. It's under my company SHC, Sewell Hospitality Concepts. I've done everything from spirit development. If you've got a question about how do I consult and how do I charge people for consulting, just hit me up. I'm going to be doing I do a post shift shot every Tuesday. It's my little rant, a little bit of business, which I might even do an episode about in the coming weeks. And then Friday's my interview. So I'm not sure who's going to be next. Who knows? I'm just throwing my hat in the ring and seeing what happens. And I think in life, when you've got to a point where you don't know what to do, you may as well try freaking everything and see what sticks. So, post shift shot. I hope you're happy that I'm back. I really am. And yeah, I'll see you around, guys. Bye.
Thanks for listening, Post Shifters. I hope you enjoyed that episode. I really enjoy sitting down with friends and peers and just chatting about the industry and getting down to the nuts and bolts of what's really going on out there. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, everything on all the platforms. Just hit it up and I'll do my best to answer any queries or questions you have. I'll see you next week, guys. Bye.